Hello again, this is DM Nell, and I am back with another edition of Sotdl Talk. That's the Shadow of the Demon Lord um, role playing game, and I am just a guy that likes to talk about his game and the setting and all the cool shit that goes with it. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. Now, I keep threatening in these videos to do a series of videos about the various places in this campaign setting. And I think I decided against that because, it'd basically just be me reading from a bunch of supplements, and you can just read those yourself. There's nothing really I'm going to add that makes them any cooler. What I think is cool is when you take a place that's in the world and you bring it to life. And that can only be done through actual play. I can sit here and talk about Kakris, the capital city of the empire, but it's basically just words until it becomes part of a story. And I haven't really done anything with it as of yet. So I decided against really, just talking about these places until I actually use them in a campaign. So what I decided to do with this video instead is I'm going to talk about the campaign that I'm actually planning. And I plan on starting this campaign next week. And this is from my home group. And I already ran one campaign for my home group, and it was based off of the Tales of the Demon Lord, the adventure path that was published for Shadow of the Demon Lord several years back. And that was the first full campaign that I ran for Shadow of the Demon Lord, and it was completed about a year and a half ago. Since then, we moved on to other stuff, and then I took a hiatus because of life. But now that I'm back in the saddle, I wanted to get back to this game, and I wanted to do what I'm calling a mega campaign, which is running a series of campaigns that are interconnected that really chronicles the coming of the Demon Lord and the impact that has on the world and the possible destruction of the world. Because, that's the ultimate goal of the Demon Lord, is to destroy everything. And now that his shadow has fallen upon the world of Earth, then it's only a matter of time before his arrival brings ruination to this world and to the universe that it's in. So the story really started with the Tales of the Demon Lord, and in my mega campaign, that campaign served to bring the attention of the Demon Lord to this reality. Now, in my version of Shadow of the Demon Lord, and this loosely follows the canon, but in my version of it, there are many universes out there. Each one of them is, a self-contained reality, and each of them has worlds, and each of them has their own set of rules and things like that. So the Demon Lord is systematically going, universe to universe and doing his best to destroy them. And so when his shadow falls upon a universe, that means that his attention has been drawn to it, and that's when things start to go to hell, basically. Well, not literally hell, because there is a hell in this game, but things start to deteriorate, easy for you to say, in the world. And the closer the shadow, or the heavier the shadow falls upon the world, the worse things get. So the shadow has fallen upon the world of Earth as a result of the Tales of the Demon Lord, where that story was basically about a cult called the Brotherhood of Shadows that had managed to get a hold of a ritual that was meant to tear open a hole in our reality to where the Demon Lord resides, which is in the void. And this hole would basically be a shining beacon to the demon lord saying, hey, here we are, come eat us. And so that's what they tried to do in that campaign. And of course, the heroes of that campaign found out about this and did their best to stop them. But the ritual was partially successful. They did manage to open a brief a brief window into the void, which was enough to get the attention of the demon lord. It was quickly shut, so it wasn't enough to allow the demon lord to actually gain entrance into this universe. But now that the demon lord's attention has been drawn, his shadow grows ever closer, and as it grows closer, the rules and the physics and the magic of this reality start to go haywire. And eventually, if something isn't done to stop the demon lord, then it could result in the destruction of the world, which is, of course, what everybody in the world, even most crazy people, don't want the world to end. But if you're enrolled in the cult of the Brotherhood of Shadows, that's exactly what you want. You want the world to end, and you want the demon lord to reshape it in his image, and you'd be one of the favored that get to repopulate his new reality. So that's the dream that they have. But the reality is that once the demon lord eats the world, it's pretty much gone. And so that's what most sane people want to prevent from happening. So my next campaign is the second in a series of campaigns that will be loosely connected. That will chronicle this downfall or this progression towards a potential downfall of the world. And the first campaign featured three heroes that will probably make an appearance again as NPCs in one of my subsequent campaigns. But I don't have any immediate plans for them in this campaign that I'm preparing. I could make a surprise appearance for one or more of them, but I really don't want to force it. I want it to be kind of natural. So we'll just kind of play that one by ear. So the campaign that I'm planning now is one that is it's not one of the. Okay, so let me back up. For every Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign that I'm planning on running, there's going to be a mega event that is the driver of the campaign. In the core rulebook, those are known as the Shadows of the Demon Lord. So these are the things that are caused by the shadow of the demon lord falling upon the world, and then a major bad event occurs as a result of that. And so the core rulebook has a bunch of suggestions on what some of those things are or what they could be, and I love them all, but most of them result. Essentially, by the time you get to the end of the campaign, the world is in ruins already. And, I really want this progression from, a somewhat healthy world to a steaming pile of rubble. I want that to be a slow progression. I don't want it to happen in one campaign. It can happen in one campaign if the heroes are not successful in any of these individual campaigns I plan on running. But I really want if things go as they should, then the heroes should be, stopping the, the event from occurring and destroying the world, or making it a worse place to be. So that did occur in the first campaign. The heroes managed to stop the Brotherhood of Shadows from completing the ritual and bringing the Demon Lord into our reality to eat it. So this campaign, I wanted I wanted it to be different than the first one. First of all, the Tales of the Demon Lord is pretty much exclusively set in the Northern Reach, which is a great place to start a campaign for this game, but it's just a tiny piece of the overall campaign setting, as you can see here on my screen. And I really wanted to introduce the larger world, the larger empire, to my players. Because there's a lot of stuff that can happen down here, and not all the fun is up here in the Northern Reach. So for this campaign, I wanted to actually start it in the Empire itself, and I wanted to start it at the time when the uprising of the orcs occurred and the human emperor is slain by the orc king known as Drudge. And so that is going to be the event that kicks off my campaign. I'm not going to actually have any adventures in that uprising. That's basically just backstory. The players are going to really just be refugees from Kakris, having managed to escape the city after many months of hiding out from the various orc bands that are roaming the streets looking for humans to kill. So that is really the just the background and the thing that will kick off the campaign. But that's not what the campaign end game is going to be. And like I said earlier, I love all of the shadows that are in the core rulebook, but most of them end up with the world in ruin. So I wanted to pick one. I wanted to do something that would not necessarily result in the world being destroyed if the heroes aren't successful, but I did want to do something that would progress the world in that direction. So what I decided to do was to take an idea from a source book that's not a Shadow of the Demon Lord source book. It's actually a Dungeons and Dragons source book, and I did a video on this a few months back for the source book known as the Elder Evils. And this source book was written by Robert Schwab, and it was for the 3.5 edition Dungeons and Dragons. So it's several years old. But the ideas in it are perfect for a Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign. And one idea in particular I took from that book, and I'm really just taking the basic idea and making my own campaign out of it. The ideas that are presented in that third edition source book are good for D&D, but I really had a hard time, getting it. Getting those ideas to work out in Shadow of the Demon Lord for what I was wanting to accomplish. So instead, I really just took the Elder Evil itself and modified it to something that better fits my idea of what I would like to have happen in this game. Now, I don't know if any of my players are going to be watching this video. I don't even know if they know that I do these videos, but in the event that they do happen across this video, I really don't want to give out any end game secrets, but I will go ahead and say that the Elder Evil that I picked for this campaign is Ragnora from the Elder Evils, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that name or if I'm going to modify it, because I have another name in mind. So I'm still kind of playing around with that. But essentially, I'm going to take that Elder Evil, and I'm going to she's going to be featured as the big bad boss at the end of the campaign. So if you read Elder Evils, then you'll know what this Elder Evil represents, and that is going to play out through this campaign. Now, I'm starting small, of course, as you have to. We're actually skipping the starting tier or the starting level of this game, which is typically level 0, and we're going straight to level 1. So they will start the game, their campaign, with their first novice path. We've already did the starting level thing in Tales of the Demon Lord, and it's okay. I didn't mind running it, and the players didn't mind playing it, but it's just almost a little too basic. So I wanted to go ahead, and they wanted to go ahead and just start off at first level. So that's what we're doing, and essentially what's happening is they are going to be refugees on the run, trying to find a way out of Kakris to a more friendly neighboring nation. And I'm not going to tell them where to go. I'm not going to point them in any particular direction. But my guess is that knowing the area, and they will have a general idea of what's in the neighborhood here, especially if they have any skills that lend themselves to knowing geography. They will find that probably the safest place to go would be to the Confederacy of the Nine Cities. This nation has been free from the Empire for a while, so it's not in any immediate danger from the orcs invading it. In fact, the orcs are really just at this point in time, they're really focusing most of their aggression towards these northern nations, Tyr, the Holy Kingdom in particular, and then Old Adine would be another target. So this direction would probably be a bad idea to go, because that's where a lot of the orc forces have been concentrated since the uprising. Going south, they could do that, but there's really not much going on to the south. The Low Country is basically, the Midwest of the Empire. It's not really, this is the breadbasket. This is where, there's a bunch of farms. There's not a whole lot to do in the Low Country. It's kind of boring. They may interpret that as being safe, but it is still part of the Empire, and there are still orcs that patrol the Low Country. So that may not be a great idea either, simply because they're trying to avoid orc warbands. Because at this stage, orcs are pretty much killing anything that isn't orc. So just coming to the Low Country down here isn't necessarily going to be any safer for them. The Grand Duchy of the West is an option, but they don't really know a whole lot about what's going on in the Grand Duchy over here, and its proximity to Kakris still makes it a dangerous place to be. So, essentially, they're probably going to head to the Confederacy of the Nine Cities, which is kind of what I hope for them to do, but I want this to be their decision. If they choose to go to the Low Country, that's fine. We'll figure out something. There'll be some adventure there, and there is actually a supplement for the Low Country that has some adventure ideas, so I might have to pull some of those out. But wherever they go, it doesn't matter, because this Elder Evil that I've pulled in to this game is going to manifest itself pretty much everywhere. In the Empire, in the Northern Reach, in the Patchwork Lands, all the way down here in the south, all the way up here in the north, it's going to be a threat to the entire continent. And so the players are going to discover this through their travels, and they're going to be put in a position where they can do something about it. Now, how that progresses, I am not totally positive as of yet. Here's how I normally do a campaign. As you can see over here, I try to outline it. And I try to come up with ideas for adventures that would lead to the ultimate, the final adventure down here at the bottom. But I start off with, obviously I start off at level 1, and then I plan for level 2. Then I start thinking about level 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s. But the further down you go, the harder it becomes to plan, because you don't know what the PCs end up doing in these early levels that could influence these later levels. So really, you just kind of have to have a broad idea of what you want to accomplish, but it has to be very high level so that you can modify it as the player decisions and the places they go dictate what happens in the campaign. I could railroad them. I mean, the Tales of the Demon Lord was extremely railroaded for the Northern Reach, and I could do that here as well. But I wanted this campaign to be a little bit different. I wanted it to be a little bit more driven by the players, and have them reacting to the developments of the Elder Evil that is manifesting across the Empire and the lands that they travel in. So I am going to run the first adventure as a modification of the Huntsman's Isle, which is one of the published adventures for Shadow of the Demon Lord. And then from there, I'm going to an adventure that I am coming up with on my own. It's going to be. I don't want to say it's an original adventure, because it's actually based on a story from a novel that I read several years ago that was written by the comic book artist and writer John Byrne. It's called The Whipping Boy, and it's going to be somewhat based off of that novel, but not really. I'm just kind of taking some ideas from that novel and putting it into a 1 or 2 session story. So, and then if they end up in the Confederacy, then that's where the third adventure would likely start up. But that, as I said earlier, I have no idea if they're going there. So if they don't even end up going there, obviously already I'm going to have to change what I have planned here and change it into the Low Country or the Grand Duchy or the Holy Kingdom or whatever. So we're just going to have to play this by ear, literally. Get my ear out, and no, that was stupid. So the playing by ear means you just go with the flow, and if they're headed towards the Low Country, then go with it. Don't try to force them into the Confederacy of the Ninth City if it's not naturally going to go there. Okay, so having said all that, that's what my next campaign is looking, or how it's shaping up to be. I want to also feature some things from several other supplements that have been released. There is one in particular that I want to draw some ideas from, and that is the campaign that is new, or the supplement that is called, what's it called? At the World's Edge, or something like that. Anyway, it is it's a supplement that details some of the lands outside of the lands that were detailed in the core rulebook. So there's some there's some other parts of this world that were not detailed in the core rulebook, and that's what this supplement talks about and gives some information about. And that's pretty much what I'm going to draw some ideas and some inspiration from those other lands. I might even have them visit one of those places, because the idea that I have for this Elder Evil really ties into one of those lands in particular, and that land ties into the mages of the Tower Arcane. So if you know that story, then you know what land I'm talking about. And so the mages and how they got to the Empire, or how they got to this continent, is going to play out in this overall story, because ultimately it's going to be discovered that the mages had a hand in causing this particular shadow to occur. So I'm not going to spoil any more than that, but that those are just some seeds of ideas that I'm going to have for this campaign, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to make it all come together. So as you can see, I have several things outlined here, and then down here towards the bottom, I have nothing, 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 and then the final adventure. So I got lots to fill in here, but I'm going to have to wait and see where the players take this campaign and go from there. So anyway, that is my plan for my next campaign, and after I have done that, I should be able to talk a little bit more about Caicrus, maybe one or more of the cities of the Confederacy, or maybe one of these other lands, just depending on where the heroes go. So at that point, I'll do what I said and go back and talk about some of the interesting places in the lands of rule. But for now, that's off into the future, because right now I am deep into campaign planning. So my next campaign starts next week. If things work out, then maybe I'll do another video shortly after that. And I do plan on doing a campaign diary on my blogger. On my blogger page, that's where I pretty much chronicle all my campaigns. I keep them on my blogger page. I don't know if I'll do a video detailing the campaign diary or not. Just depends on if I have time, I suppose. But I will definitely chronicle it on my blogger, and then we will see if we have time to do a video for it. So anyway, I'm just babbling now. So I'm going to wrap up this video since we are now almost half an hour into it, which is longer than I wanted it to take. And I'll let you know how this campaign goes because I'm pretty excited for it. We got some fun ideas circulating up in here, and we'll see if we can't get some of those ideas to manifest in this campaign. So with that, I'm going to let you all go. And the usual hail out to all the you cultists out there, and play Shadow of the Demon Lord if you're not playing it. Damn it, it's an excellent game. All right, I'm out.